everybody, it's Rob and Kurt with Two Brothers Hobby, and today we're taking a look at the ElectriFly Mr. Mulligan. Now, Kurt, I'm going to tap into your brain a little bit here and see what kind of history you know on this plane.
Oh, very little.
What's why is the Mr. Mulligan sitting here? I mean, why is it a model?
Well, Rob, actually in the 1930s it was built for the, I think, the Bendix Trophy in mind. It was built as a Bendix racer, but it actually was the only plane to win both the Thompson and the Bendix Trophy.
Wow. That's pretty good.
It says it on the front of the box.
Right off the box.
Yeah. All right.
That's awesome.
And then what was the actual designation of the plane?
Now, we've got a lot of parts here that we need to take a look at.
Yeah,
so
we do.
Why don't
So
we
let's
just
get
jump
to
right into
the detail.
Well, let's take a look at some of the unique features on this particular ARF. Give you an idea of just how big this fuse is. We're talking a 52-inch span with 41-inch length, and you can tell with my hand on here just how fat this thing is. And Mr. Mulligan was fat, the model itself, but it kind of gives you an idea in model form. That's how big we're talking here. We've got a battery hatch that pops up right here underneath the cockpit, held on by magnets. And then this cockpit bottom here flips up. You'll screw that into place when you build, but it gives you access to the inside of the fuse for all of your electronics. Yep. But everything needs to be put in. Your linkage tubes are in there, but everything else needs to be assembled. You've got the fiberglass cowl, which will cover the replica radial engine here. And Kurt, you want to put some detail, which really surprised me. You actually want to detail this out a little bit. What do you want?
Yeah, I want to put the tappets in there.
There you
up
go.
to the valves, yeah.
Well,
the cowl has the indentations or the recesses to accommodate the valves.
Exactly.
So you might as well call attention to
So I would
them.
expect those to all be oriented properly.
That's right.
Okay.
The rocker arms, rather.
Got fiberglass wheel pants. You've got the wheels here. A parts bag, which includes all your necessary hardware, typical of mini ARFs. We'll take a look at the wing. One of the unique features of this wing, it does come with flaps. And you've got your ailerons here. Now your ailerons are pre-hinged, as are your flaps on the main wing. But if you look down the edge of that wing, Kurt, what do you notice?
It's got a little bit of flare up at the end.
It does. The wingtip flares up, and there's a bit of a scallop, basically, towards the end of the wing. The whole wing itself, from about this point on, tips up.
Well, racers aren't always known for not being tip stall prone, so.
Exactly, yeah. This isn't a trainer, that's for sure. Now you've got your horizontal stabilizer here in your elevator, which is already pre-hinged. So we don't have to do that. One thing I did want to mention that we noticed right off the bat, it seems insignificant, but really it's the little details that you notice that stand out. You got a heavy landing gear here, which is makes for a sturdy landing gear. But what we noticed,
5.5 pound, 6 pound kit, you know.
Exactly.
Yep.
But what we notice is they skin these with fiberglass. This is not your typical covering.
And it's flawless too. I mean, it's
beautiful.
absolutely flawless paint job.
You can kind of catch that as I'm turning it.
Yep.
It's a beautiful paint job, and it's smooth as silk. Just adds to the overall looks of the plane. The plane itself, in real life and in model form, are both got real good looking lines. That pretty much concludes everything that comes out of the kit as far as the plane itself, the airframe. Kurt, you've got a lot of electronics sitting over there, and I know you're just waiting to tell us all about them.
Well, let me tell you all about them, Rob.
I wish you would.
Our radio system is real straightforward. With this being a larger plane, we're going to have to, and it's even common on some smaller planes as well. We've got a couple of servo extensions we'll be using on a radio system, as well as a couple of Y adapters, or they call these the J series dual extension cord, but what it allows you to do then is plug 2 into 1, which is pretty handy. So, and they're compact, so you don't have extra wiring laying around. Prop wise, we're going to be using a 12x8E thin electric prop from APC, and that's going to be driven by our Rimfire 32. And I'll tell you a little bit about this Rimfire 32. It is a, let me get it spun around here so you can see it. There we go. It's an 800 kV brushless motor. Now this is designed, it'll handle 3D airplanes up to about 4 pounds, or sport planes up to 6.5 pounds. And we're going to be tugging around about 5.5, 5 3/4 pounds. So we should get really good sport performance, near 3D performance out of Mr. Mulligan, especially on flat maneuvers, snaps, things like that. But we should have some really nice climb out as well. Driving that motor is going to be an ElectriFly 45 amp Silver Series ESC with integrated battery eliminator circuit. So that then will be fed with our Flight Power Eon X30. This is a 30C continuous discharge battery, and this is a 4-cell, so it's 14.8 volts, standard 1C charge rate, but a nice 30C discharge rate. This is 4350 milliamps too, so we should have pretty good run times based on our configuration, especially if we aren't getting into the throttle too heavy. This requires 6 servos with the flaps on board, so we're going to be using the Futaba S3115 servos. I think those are all backwards for you too, aren't they?
No, that one's right.
There we go.
Yeah, you only need one.
Let's spin that one around too. So we'll be using the S3115 servos. And then of course at the head end, we'll be doing the whole thing with, or can flying the whole plane with our Futaba T8FG transmitter, our computer radio mixing transmitter. So we'll be able to do some pretty neat stuff to get Mr. Mulligan to behave nicely through maneuvers when we put those flaps down. So.
Well, Kurt, with this being a sport racer design and a high wing, it's going to be kind of a little different than some of the planes we've been used to flying.
Yep.
High wings obviously generally tend to be pretty good flyers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Inherently.
Yeah, well, you've got the high wing stability with that kind of a pendulum effect. But it's interesting, this is almost like a clipped wing Cub. They did get a little more sporty feel out of it, a little more maneuverability. This is a very clipped wing design.
Yeah,
so,
it is. Plus, it's not a real deep wing.
No, not at all. It isn't.
If we had a Cessna with a fuselage this wide, we would probably have at least a third more wing depth.
Oh yeah, we'd have a lot more wing depth. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to flying it and seeing how it performs.
Oh, I'm sure
I'm sure we're going to be glad it has flaps.
Yeah.
Looking at the airframe layout, that's the only thing I know for certain is we're going to be really glad it has flaps to bring it in nice and slow. So.
Yeah.
But that's the next step, right?
Put it all together and take it out to the field.
Make sure you come back and check out the review footage and see how Mr. Mulligan flew in the air and performed for us.